from now. As always, you guys can join the conversation at 609-403-0973. Your DMs into the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City. So before we get to the Eagles stuff, let me get the Phillies exasperation, I'll call it, off my chest. Because that's the best description I have for this. Watching the game today, you came in with good vibes. You came into this afternoon's Phillies game with a positive outlook. You looked around and you said, well, the Phillies, they are a team that finally won a game started by someone not named Tyler Phillips last night. Zach Wheeler came out, had a great start. The Phillies offense, they found a way to win. They found a way to finish the job, late innings. Castellanos, Marsh, Phillies win. And you came out of last night's game feeling, finally, you came out feeling relieved. You weren't even worried about the Phillies coming into this morning because you had the Eagles reporting for training camp. You had Matvey Vishkov being introduced by the Flyers with his translator, who sounds like he should be hanging out with Drago instead of Mishkov. That's another story for another day. You had all these positive vibes today, and then all of a sudden, oh, wait, there's a Phillies game on at 1 o'clock today. Flip the game on. Aaron Nola goes out there, has a good start, leaves the game with a lead. 4-1. You had the game in hand. All you had to do was the bullpen do your job. Well, they didn't do their job. Orion Kerkering comes into the game. He loads the bases, 1 out. They bring in Matt Strahm. Strahm hits a batter. Second run comes in. But Strahm could have been out of the inning. He gets a fly ball to left center field. And we're back to the Brandon Marsh suddenly can't field fiasco. Remember, we saw this over the last several weeks. He made 2 horrible plays in the same week as a center fielder. Then another time he plays center field, he misreads the ball, completely misjudges the trajectory. And today, literally, if you put your left hand out and then put your right hand within 2 inches of your left hand, that was the margin that Marsh misread this ball. I mean, it was literally inches away. If he literally just turned his glove onto the right angle, he would have caught the ball. It's a ball that I would say 98% of major league outfielders should be able to catch. But apparently, Brandon Marsh is no longer part of that majority. He ruins Strahm's opportunity to salvage the lead. Twins tie the game. You bring in Hoffman in the 8th because you had a couple right-handed hitters up for the Twins. We go to the 9th inning, and we are wondering here in the 97.3 ESPN studio, who are they going to go with? Alvarado? Dominguez? We were seriously wondering what outcome it was going to be. And then they go with Gregory Soto. Now, the relevance of going with Soto for this conversation, we have to go back a little bit because it wasn't that long ago that Soto had a bad outing. And as we've documented here on 97.3 ESPN, Josh and I hanging out with you on a Wednesday night, we have documented that for most of the season, Soto has been exceptional. For most of the baseball season, he has been very, very good. But for whatever reason, every once in a while, he has these outings. Remember, he just pitched yesterday, had a walk. Now, he's part of the winning effort, but control was a bit of an issue yesterday. Before the All-Star break, he also had some control issues. The Dodgers outing, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. Now, in those outings, he didn't give up any runs. So in your mind, you're thinking, okay, he's just working through it. And I will remind you that before today, Gregory Soto had not allowed an earned run in any of his appearances since July 4th. And he has not allowed more than 1 run in any outing of any game since May 10th, when he allowed 2 runs against the Marlins. Gregory Soto has not allowed more than 3 runs earned in any month since May. He allowed 3 runs in June. He has allowed 2 runs in July. So I can understand why Rob Thompson went to Gregory Soto in that situation. I don't think it was the worst idea. I don't think it was a bad idea. I just think it didn't work out. Look, you allow 3 runs in the month of May. You allow 1 run in the month of June. And you allow 2 runs in the month of July. That means you have a 3-month track record that you are doing your job. I don't think Soto here is the problem. I think the problem is that you don't look at Soto as the guy who is going to save you. You look at Soto as the guy who you only go to if you absolutely have to. And I think it gets back to, what does this team do for the MLB trade deadline? We are counting down the days to the MLB trade deadline. And part of that countdown here on 97.3 ESPN is that the Phillies have some obvious needs. But among those obvious needs, does the bullpen get elevated? Does the bullpen become more of a need than we previously thought? You guys go ahead and let me know at 609-403-0973 in your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Dan from EHC takes exception to my Brandon Marsh criticism. He says Marsh is a good fielder and had a good on base plus slug, I guess he's trying to say. Marsh won the game last night with a sac fly. I'm not doubting he's a good player, but for whatever reason, he has now messed up in the outfield, tracking the ball in the air at least 4 times that I can remember as of this moment in time. There was the 2 times in the same week. It was the week that they demoted Rojas, remember? He had a bad week that week. Then he looked like he kind of went to left field, got himself figured out, then went back to center field. It seemed like initially he was okay. And then he messes up again. Misreads the ball in the air, mistracks it. Becomes a huge reason why the Phillies have a much closer game, and then they lose it. And today again, they lose because of a Brandon Marsh fielding error. Dan EHC, I'm not denying that he was the guy who helped them win the game last night. But it's because I know Marsh is a good fielder that I am going to criticize him. This is unacceptable for a guy of his caliber, of his skill set, of what he is capable of. The Phillies have a day off tomorrow. If I am the Phillies, I am personally abducting Brandon Marsh, putting him in a car, taking him to an ophthalmologist, easy for me to say, or an optometrist for him to have his eyes checked. Because for whatever reason, this is now 4 times in the last several weeks that he has completely whiffed on a play in the outfield. I don't want to hear about his bat. I'm talking about his fielding. It's because I know he's a good fielder that I am concerned. This is not who he is. This is not what he is. He's a phenomenal athlete. He has never had problems tracking the ball in the air before. Now, all of a sudden, this is now 4 times in the last several weeks. I am not just going to say it was a bad day at the office. I am not just going to say this is the dog days of summer. I'm going to say Brandon Marsh is starting to develop a pattern. I don't like it too much. Well, it's Dave Weinberg. What do you think is coming in next? Our 97.3 ESPN.com Extra Points sports columnist Dave Weinberg joins me next for a Weinberg Wednesday. And don't forget, you have an opportunity to win tickets to go see the boxing event of the summer this Friday at Tropicana Atlantic City Showroom. Just text 609-403-0973, the word boxing, for your chance to go see Atlantic City's Justin Figueroa, Absegami High School graduate Bruce Selden Jr., top-ranked heavyweight fighter Otto Whalen, and more of the great action that is going to be a part of this stacked card this Friday at Tropicana Atlantic City Showroom, where you can watch the fights with 97.3 ESPN. Myself will be in attendance for all the action, and you can win tickets. All you got to do is text boxing to 609-403-0973 with your name and where you're from.
Unsportsmanlike with Evan Cohen, Chris Canty, and Michelle Smallman.
This is a show and prove year, not just for Jalen Hurts, but for Nick Sirianni. Can you provide the leadership, the guidance, and the answers for your players when you hit that inevitable adversity? And 8 Ball says doubtful in my book. I haven't seen anything to show me that Nick Sirianni is going to be a championship-winning coach.
Wake up weekday mornings with Unsportsmanlike with Evan Cohen, Chris Canty, and Michelle Smallman on 97.3 ESPN.
Our greatest summer offers are waiting at BMW of Atlantic City. Lease a new 2024 BMW X3 xDrive 30i for $629 a month with $51.99 due at signing, or a new 2025 BMW iX xDrive 50 lease for $749 a month with $65.29 due at signing, both for 36 months at BMW of Atlantic City, closer than you think. Located in Egg Harbor Township. Online at bmwatlanticcity.com. Offers expire July 31st. For more details, call 609-316-2393.
Are you an oblivious person hogging the sidewalk like a large dying snail? Do people stuck behind you ask, how do you sleep at night? Then you should go to Mattress Firm. They have tons of quality beds at every price. So anyone, even people like you, can sleep. All night long, all night. Get matched at Mattress Firm. Sleep at night. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Diego.
Hi, Diego. It's Jennifer Coolidge. I just want to say your cashback match makes me feel so special. It really inspired me.
That's great. Doubling the cashback you've earned at the end of your first year is what we do.
Well, I'm doubling everything now. Double dating, double dipping, double feature, double header, double whammy. Basically double or nothing.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
They say to make yourself indispensable at work, so I developed a digital catering solution that only I can operate. Okay, it's actually easycater.com.
David!
They love me, because I, the director of catering logistics, not a real job, use EasyCater to get catering from all our favorite restaurants. Tight budget? No problem. Need vegetarian options? Gluten-free? Check and check.
D-Man, you crushed lunch today.
It was easy. EasyCater.
EasyCater is your all-in-one tech platform for ordering food for work. Start your order at easycater.com.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hi, I'm Cesar Milan. People are always commenting on how healthy my dogs are. One of the reasons is the food my dogs eat.
Dr. Marty's Nature's Blend is a premium freeze-dried raw dog food designed to support your dog's health, happiness, and lifespan. Save up to 54% off Nature's Blend and get a free bag of cod Krispies. Go to drmartypets.com/deal or text DEAL to 511-511.
Your order is back with a 90-day guarantee.
All dogs are unique. Your dog results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply.
Save thousands at Matt Blatt Kia. Get out of your old trade today, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. Go to mattblattkianj.com for more details. That's mattblattkianj.com.
It's gotta be a
Matt Blatt Kia.
Powered by the all-new BetParks New Jersey Casino and Sportsbook app. BetParks.com. This is the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network.
The Eagles held their first practice of training camp today. I'm Nick Earnshaw with your South Jersey Sports Center and with your 97.3 ESPN question of the day. The Eagles finally are back out on the practice field today in their first practice of training camp. With that being said, what is your number one concern regarding the Eagles heading into this season? Let us know by texting 609-403-0973 or use the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app. In my opinion, it's got to be the development of the young players on defense. You had Fletcher Cox retire. You're not as deep on the defensive line. What does the linebacker situation look like? What jump will those Georgia Bulldogs take on the defensive side of things? Once again, text in at 609-403-0973. What is your number one concern regarding the Eagles heading into this season? Your forecast is next.
From playtime to showtime, Atlantic City always serves classic summer fun with a twist of cool. Visit AtlanticCityNJ.com to win an overnight getaway.
From the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dan Zarrow. About 24 hours from now, the persistent rain chance will be over, skies will start to clear, and we enter a beautiful weather pattern that'll last right through the upcoming weekend. Muggy tonight, mostly cloudy skies, probably dry, low is 73. We face one more push of showers and thunderstorms during the day tomorrow, some late day clearing, high 84. Gorgeous on Friday, mostly sunny, not as humid, high 82. Get weather 24/7 wherever you are. Download our free mobile app today.
This radio commercial was made to convince you to stop speeding. We can't use siren sound effects on the radio, so we'll use other equally jarring sound effects to get your attention, like telling you that whether you drive a little over the speed limit or a lot, you can crash just the same. You could hurt yourself or worse, others.
I'm at the scene of the collision.
And the damage you cause will be beyond repair. See, we didn't have to use crash or siren sounds after all. Speeding catches up with you. Brought to you by NHTSA.
97.3 ESPN has teamed up with Seize the Deal for incredible weekly offers from some fantastic local restaurants. Here's this week's big deal.
Get a $50 gift card good for use at Zion Mikamo Pizza in Sea Isle City for just $25.
Get this great deal starting Friday at 9 a.m. at seizethedeal.com. Hurry, chances are this deal will sell quickly. For more info on this great deal, go to seizethedeal.com.
Seizethedeal.com.
This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Before we get to Dave Weinberg here on 97.3 ESPN, don't forget the boxing event of the summer is this Friday at Tropicana Atlantic City Showroom, where not one but two South Jersey High School graduates, Justin Figueroa of Holy Spirit and Bruce Selden Jr. of Absegami High School, are part of the jam-packed card inside Tropicana Friday night, July 26th. Get your tickets now at Ticketmaster.com, or you can win a pair of tickets by texting in to 609-403-0973 and just leave your name and the word boxing, and you have a chance to win a pair of tickets to the fights this Friday night. And if you don't win, just go to Ticketmaster.com to don't miss out on the event. You can come watch the event with 97.3 ESPN, as I will be there on Friday night. A man who knows a ton about boxing, Boxing Hall of Fame writer, and our 97.3 ESPN Extra Point column. Weinberg joins me here on 97.3 ESPN. Dave, welcome back in. How you doing today?
Doing well, Josh. How are you?
Doing pretty good. We haven't talked on the radio for a couple weeks, so I'm glad we can finally get our schedules all lined up and everything. I gotta start with the Phillies though, because I'm getting pushback by people who are saying that I'm being way too critical of Brandon Marsh. And I don't understand how a guy
No, you're not.
Well, thank you, because the guy's job is literally because he's a good fielder. They literally acquired this guy 2 years ago. He has now had 4 different missed tracks of the ball in the air. And I don't understand. Like, if I'm the Phillies, Dave, I am abducting him at the airport. I am taking him to an eye doctor, and I'm getting his eyes examined because that's the only explanation I have for him messing up like this.
Yeah, the one today was inexcusable, and he was right there. I don't know what it looked like. He had his glove up, but he didn't have it in the right spot. I know they scored a base hit, which saved him the embarrassment of an error, but it was clearly his fault. And yeah, maybe there is an eye problem there. I don't know. That sounds a little drastic, but it could be. It's a possibility.
Well, I'm a bit of a drastic guy. I'll admit that. Dave, with that being said, though, the Phillies, this is now 3 straight series that they have lost. And what's crazy is that the only reason why they haven't lost any ground, Dave, is because the Braves are in a worse state of affairs than the Phillies are.
Yeah, they're kind of catching lightning in a bottle here a little bit, like you said. I mean, they're struggling, but so are the Braves, even worse, I guess. And it's still have a 9-game lead after losing 3 series that's kind of unheard of. But I guess it just speaks to the way that it just justifies the great start that the Phillies got off to. Building that big lead that allows them some leeway to, if they struggle, if they lose a series or 2 or 3, then they're not in major trouble. So, but yeah, they're going to have to figure things out, because I don't think the Braves are going to stink for the whole season. So they're going to figure things out, get some guys back, and probably make a push here eventually.
Yeah, I mean, the Braves are existing in Murphy's Law at this point. I mean, Ozzie Albies gets injured. He's out, I think, 8 to 12 weeks. And then they bring in Whit Merrifield to fill that void. And his first fielding practice with the Braves, he injures his hand. Like, you can't make this up.
Yeah, they're kind of snake bitten, I would think, at this point.
Yeah, they're a mess. Like, between them, the only reason why the Phillies are the best record in the National League is because the Braves and the Dodgers are so injured that they can't help themselves.
That's true. Yeah, the Braves and tighter starting rotation is how it seems like. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's true.
The Dodgers basically have an all-star team on their injured list at this point.
Yeah, Mookie Betts. Yep, that's true. Yep.
Mookie Betts, Tyler Glasnow, Yamamoto, the rookie pitcher from Japan. They're them and more on this injured list. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, we got to give the Phillies credit. They had some people hurt too, but managed to tread water and stay afloat. And now they got those guys back. So you think they'd be making a little bit of a push here, but so far that doesn't happen. But hopefully soon, for their sake, that they will.
So Dave, rank for me the priority list for you of these 3 needs. Okay, outfielder to platoon with Marsh, who can be a right-handed bat. Bullpen arm, because they definitely need one more arm in the bullpen, and another starting pitcher, considering the injuries they have to the rotation.
I'm probably going to go bullpen arm number 1. It doesn't seem like they have a defined closer, a guy who can come in and shut the doors. Certainly not Alvarado. Why they don't use Hoffman there for some strange reason, I don't get why. So that would probably be my first priority, whether it's the guy from Oakland, Mason. I can't remember his name. Or Chapman. Maybe even be a possibility, but I think they need somebody to come in and just shut the door on teams. Secondly, I guess the extra outfielder that you're talking about, an extra bat and an extra glove in the outfield would be a help. Like I said, you can't play Marsh every day, evidently. So you got to figure out somebody to pair with him. And then I would think that it seems like the rotation is still pretty deep. I'm not that worried about that at this point.
Well, the rotation's weird because 2 of their last 3 wins have been Tyler Phillips on the mound. All the other pitchers lost aside from Zach Wheeler. Ranger Suarez still doesn't look healthy for whatever reason. So
Yeah, that's weird.
It's the whole thing is just bizarre. I mean, poor Aaron Nola, he actually gave you a 4-1 lead today and you lost the game. So it's like, I mean, could you use another arm? I guess in theory, but I mean, like you said, it's not like, break glass in case of emergency situation.
Right. Yeah, I think they have the starting pitch in there, the depth there to fill the void without having to add somebody else. I mean, you always want to get better or stronger if you can, but I'm not giving up the farm or anything for some ace for. I think I have enough depth to get through.
I mean, honestly, the guy who I would love to see, and this is just selfishly, I know the Texas Rangers might be selling. You might be able to get Max Scherzer for like a bag of peanuts at this point.
Yeah, I mean, he's 75 years old, but other than that, he's
so is Pedro in 2009.
Yeah, that's true. I've always been a Max fan. I like the way he approaches the game and the way he approaches things off the field too. Just seems like a generally nice guy and still a pretty good pitcher, and clearly not what he once was, but you could do a lot worse.
Well, my thinking is that I don't need him to be the Cy Young Award winner candidate anymore. I can just have him go out there, pitch every 5. What if you go to a 6-man rotation for the month of August and just say, hey, Max, you're one of the 6. And then can you imagine the postseason if you asked Max Scherzer to come in and close your games?
Yeah, I don't know if he'd go for that, but I guess he would. He'd just be thankful to be on a championship contending team, I guess.
Oh, he's a psycho competitor. I could totally see him.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you got a point there. Yep.
I mean, guys like him, your John Smoltz of the world, even Kurt Schilling. Remember, he closed a couple playoff games at one point. I mean, those guys, they got the reason why they're so good is because they're so competitive. They have a screw loose in their head. They'll just do whatever it takes to win.
Yeah, that's what made them so good, though. You're right.
Yeah, exactly. Dave Weinberg, you also spent many years covering the Philadelphia Eagles, so I want to get your thoughts on the Birds because we have Coachgate going on because initially over the weekend, Diana Messina reporting that Nick Sirianni was not the guy who hired the coordinators. It was Howie Roseman. Howie Roseman today comes out and says, no, I didn't hire them. Nick brought a list of names to me and we worked together to hire them. So read the tea leaves for me, Dave Weinberg.
I'm going to say Roseman made that call. I don't think they're the ones that probably designated Nick to be the CEO coach, if you will. No, I don't think Nick had much to do with it, to be quite honest. I think that was probably Howie and Jeff that made that decision.
And I'm assuming, not to put words in your mouth, but part of it has to do with what we know what happened with Doug Peterson, right?
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly right. Yeah, I mean, they wanted to change coordinators. Doug didn't want to and wound up losing his job as a result. I don't know if it was a similar situation. Maybe Nick said, just to save his job, yeah, go ahead. You can hire whoever you want and I'll work with it. He probably wasn't as adamant about keeping his guys as Doug was.
Yeah, and I am not saying that Nick Sirianni had like zero input necessarily, but like you said, there's a clear example of the Eagles organization saying, we don't like your coaches. If you don't like it, you're gone. And all of a sudden, Nick Sirianni has not won a championship for this franchise. He is not from the Andy Reid tree, right? He is not all the prerequisites that Doug was. I mean, Doug was even a former Eagle player, for goodness sake. It's like Doug had every check mark in the box, but yet they let him go, and this guy is still here. Yeah, well, Doug had a backbone, and Nick probably doesn't. I mean, that's probably the difference, quite honestly. But Dave, it's weird because all the players love this guy. The players all say that he's a leader, he's uber prepared, he's a great coach. Like, the players, for whatever reason, like this guy. So it's like, what gives? Why is he only good as a CEO? Is he just like a specific like personality type? I guess, yeah. He tries to be one of the guys, and I guess they buy into that to a point. Seems to be a little bit of friction between him and Jalen Hurts. I don't know quite the depth of it, or whether that's really true, or just idle talk that got people through the off season. But I just can't understand it. I'm kind of like in your camp there. I don't get it why he is so popular. I guess that must be his personality, because it certainly doesn't seem to be his coaching, especially at the end of last season. I mean,
they totally went in the tank, and that's all on him as far as I'm concerned.
Well, the Jalen thing is interesting because they tried to ask Jalen about that today, and he pretty much shot the reporter down and basically said, I trust Nick Sirianni. We're going to follow his lead. I trust Howie Roseman building this roster. I trust what Jeffrey Lurie says goes. Like, Jalen made it like this isn't a Nick Sirianni thing. He lumps Sirianni, Roseman, and Lurie in the one grouping that he's like, I just trust those guys that we're going to be fine. So read into that what you will. After a month ago, Jalen basically wouldn't answer a question about Nick Sirianni's offense.
Yeah, I guess he's probably just trying to toe the company line here and try to focus on training camp, getting ready for the season, try to minimize the distractions as much as he can. But let's see what happens if they go like 3-3 out of the gate. You're going to get some controversies, I think, brewing, and starting with that one might be at the forefront.
Talk with Dave Weinberg for a Weinberg Wednesday here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN at Dave Weinberg 19 on the Twitter X platform. Extra point columns over at 97.3 ESPN.com. I did think it was interesting that both Howie Roseman and Jalen Hurts were willing to answer the question about the lack of coaching continuity at the offensive coordinator for Hurts. Hurts admitted that, hey, I've had 10 coaches in my ear in the last 8 years, and Howie Roseman says, hey, we acknowledge that this is not an ideal situation to keep asking our franchise quarterback to keep learning new people every year. So, I mean, they were, for whatever reason, willing to concede to that point.
Yeah, but now he's got another new person he's got to learn from, right? So I don't know. They didn't exactly solve the problem.
Well, it's like someone who goes to Alcoholics Anonymous. They admit they have a problem, but then they don't do anything about it.
Right. Yeah, you got to practice what you preach here. I mean, it's nice to admit that you do have trouble here, but yeah, you got to have Kellen Moore back next year and the year after that and the year after that if you want to establish the continuity you're talking about.
I mean, I will say this, and I don't have this personally, but I've read reports that apparently Kellen Moore is not the best interview for head coaching jobs in the past. So, maybe he, doesn't get hired immediately if it goes well this year. I mean, I guess that's the theory.
Yeah, that could be. I mean, they're never stood in the way of anybody getting a job if they, they're not going to put up any roadblocks or anything. If Kellen doesn't interview well, sounds a little bit like Deuce Staley, I guess, who had some opportunities but just didn't work out. And our buddy Greg Roman from here, I don't understand why he's not a head coach yet either. I guess it's just that you get caught in that cycle. Then every year a new hot candidate or two emerges, and then you get pushed a little bit further back, and before you know it, you never get that shot.
I also wanted to get your thoughts on the report that came out over the weekend. So the Philadelphia Inquirer, for those who didn't see it, they had a report that a former Eagles front office executive spoke to the Philadelphia Inquirer and said that Eagles owner Jeffrey Lurie views Sirianni as the next Andy Reid because he's, quote, a football nerd, a maniacal teacher, a passionate leader with the capacity to become an excellent administrator, a skill that took Reid a while to master. Is that really what the Eagles think of Sirianni, or is that a former team employee getting paid off to send a quote to the paper?
Wow. I mean, I can't speak for them. Maybe they do feel that way. I don't understand why they would, though. I don't. I had the opportunity to cover Andy for a good while here with the Eagles,
you did.
and I don't see the comparison. I just don't. Every coach is dedicated. At least almost every coach is, and at least the good ones are. And I just don't see where that's grounds for. I mean, Andy's accomplished a heck of a lot more than Nick ever did. So I know. I have to wait and see on that front. So I'm gonna withhold judgment on that comparison.
I mean, I'm sure that because the article says former Eagles executive, considering there's two of them that have no longer with the organization as of this calendar year, I'm sure if we read closer into the quotes, we could decipher which one of the former executives it was. But I don't have time to read the ZipRecruiter film at this point. So
right.
But still, it's very strange that we're getting these divergent perspectives on the same guy, right? It's like
based on what? They went in the tank last year. They totally fell apart. I don't understand why you would.
But see, to me, it's more, not to interrupt you, but to me, it's more than that. It's the fact that Lane Johnson, Brandon Graham, Jason Kelsey, they all blamed the coordinators. They have all, and other players have too. There are players, Zach McPherson did that podcast no one's ever heard of as well. These guys have blamed the coordinators for the failings of last year. So if the coordinators are the reason why everything went sideways, right? Where was the head coach to come in and clean up?
Correct. Right. Where was he? It was easy to blame those guys, and I guess you can because you don't want to throw the head coach under the bus if you want to keep your job. Or I guess Jason has nothing to prove anymore, but he being retired but I don't understand that at all. I would think you'd want to probably keep your mouth shut. I don't know. Wow, it's real easy to blame a guy after he's gone. If he's still here, then you really got to, watch what you say. And, you can throw a guy under the bus if he's no longer on the bus, right? So
I will say, though, Hassan Reddick kind of did imply last year that there was a coaching problem on the defense. So, and maybe that's part of the reason why he's not here is because he did it in season instead of after the season.
Well, who's the defensive coordinator that they're blaming?
So, like, if you go based on like the different quotes out there, like Zach McPherson basically said that there basically was a toxic environment, and that it never got staved off. Let me pull up the Brandon Graham exact quote because I don't want to misquote Brandon because Brandon is Brandon. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I can flub Zach McPherson because he's Zach McPherson. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Here's what Brandon Graham said about what went wrong last year.
I didn't think we had all the right coaches in the proper spots that could help us, whatever Desailles' message was, because it was just a bunch of miscommunication. That's all. That's what I would just say. It was just miscommunication that I know Howie regretted after the season.
That's Brandon's take on it.
Right, but he didn't name any names, right?
Well, he named Sean Desai. He said Desai. So.
Well, they replaced Sean Desai, right? So.
Right, and then it got worse.
Right. So who are you going to blame then? I mean, I don't know. That just seems like they're just looking for a scapegoat for what went wrong, and they don't want to blame Sirianni for it.
I guess. I mean, I don't have a better explanation.
They have no excuses now, then, right?
Well, that's the thing. Everyone says that Nick Sirianni and Mike McCarthy are in the same boat. That they're both two coaches that if they don't have success this year, they're both getting fired.
Mm-hmm. You would think so.
I mean, at least Sirianni's in a position to be successful. I mean, Sirianni at least.
Yeah, but Mike's got nothing. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, well, Jerry Jones said they were all in and they didn't do anything.
Right. Yeah, that kind of puzzled me their off season. That made bringing back again, not to quote myself, but a 75-year-old Ezekiel Elliott does nothing for their offense.
I wish I could remember who said it, but somebody I heard once recently said that the Cowboys have a roster that would look really good in 2020, not 2024.
Yeah, that's true. A bunch of old guys. Yep. Retreads.
They got Eric Kendricks in there. I mean, they brought back the linebacker because he's Zimmer's boy.
Yeah, he was good with the Vikings, but that was a couple years ago. Yeah,
that was a while ago. That was like 6 years ago.
Yep. Why not bring back Michael, his brother, while you're at it, right?
Right. Well, isn't he in jail for like insider trading or something?
Yeah, he was at the end of his Eagles tenure. I know that that was the rumor that he was going to be going away for a little while. I don't know if it ever happened though.
I don't know if he's still in jail or not, but I know there was a whole insider trading thing where he was like illegally trading stocks. It was like,
correct.
It was like, is this usually what politicians do now? Football players, like,
yeah.
I feel like that's like where like Martha Stewart and politicians hang out, not Michael Kendricks, for goodness sake.
You'd be surprised at the amount of athletes who get in trouble with that kind of stuff, bad investments, bad advice, trying to do stuff they're not supposed to be doing. Yeah.
I mean, I can see the bad investments. Everybody has a restaurant, everybody has a car wash. I think it was what was it? Lamar Odom was paying for 20 people's cell phone bills when he played in the NBA. I think it was like, these guys.
You'd be stunned at everybody has their hand out. Everybody, they don't want to say no to anybody. They want to take care of their friends. They want to take care of their families. Their fourth cousins come running around asking for stuff, and before you know it, you're out of money and you're scrounging around trying to figure out where everything went.
Dave, before I let you go, as I mentioned at the top of our conversation, boxing back in Tropicana this Friday. Justin Figueroa, You have Bruce Seldon Jr., Otto Whalen is on the card. Some interesting names, interesting fighters this Friday.
Yeah, it should be. It should be entertaining. I'll be interesting to see. Otto, especially being a top 15 heavyweight, his only losses were to Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. So he's the real deal. I've seen him fight once before. I think it ended in like a disqualification or something, if I remember right. But yeah, he's a very good fighter out of Sweden. Has a big fan base. I know Justin and Bruce both have huge fan bases as well. So. And they're not exactly taking like huge steps up in competition, but that's okay. I mean, there's plenty of time for that to happen. But yeah, I'm hoping that people will turn out. I know there's a lot of entertainment options out there, especially this time of year. So I'm hoping that people will choose to go to boxing, and I think they'll be pleased that they did.
I mean, I know that the turnout was good for the last one in Tropicana. So, and if you just factor in that, I'm not trying to be presumptuous, but if Justin's fans and Bruce's fans all show up, you're at least guaranteeing a certain number in the building, and now you're just trying to bring everybody else with you, kind of deal, right?
Yeah, there's an intriguing kind of subplot to Justin's though, because he's a former Atlantic City lifeguard.
Right.
And there's a lot of lifeguard buddies that like to watch him fight. However, you got the Dutch Hoffman lifeguard championship the same night. Or do you go watch Justin, or do you go watch your teammates try to win a title down in Wildwood? It's going to be interesting to see how that pans out. But he'll have plenty of people there, I'm sure.
Yeah, I do know that they're streaming the fights. I don't remember exactly.
Is the Zone doing it or no?
I think the Zone is handling the international feed because of Otto. And I don't remember if they're handling the national feed or not, but I know that there's going to be an actual footage, not just random cell phone film.
Right. Well, doesn't Larry always streams it on his website? I think, doesn't he?
Right. Yes, that's correct.
So that'll help. And then so you're supposed to have an appearance by Mickey Ward, so that should draw some people in the building too. So hopefully it turns out well.
Absolutely. Dave Weinberg joining us here for a Weinberg Wednesday here on 97.3 ESPN. Where on earth are you anyway?
I'm at Gusto Brewery playing trivia.
That's one of my favorite breweries.
Oh, yeah? Okay, good. This is my second time. I'm not a big beer guy, but so far so good, I guess. I'm more of I just celebrated National Tequila Day a couple hours ago, so that's more my speed.
Well, if you see the owners Zach or the brewmaster Dan, tell them Josh said hello. So.
Oh, I absolutely will. Maybe that'll get us a discount. That's good.
Maybe you will. Tell them you work with me at 97.3 ESPN.
I will. All righty.
Dave, we'll talk soon.
All right, Josh. Thanks again as always. I appreciate it. Maybe I'll see you at the fights.
That's what I'm hoping. I hope to see you over there.
All right, definitely.
All right,
Take
Dave
care.
Weinberg joining us here on 97.3 ESPN. Coming up the other side, we'll check back on the text board, 609-403-0973. We got text from George in Summers Point, as well as Shaner and EHT. Your text and more coming up next on 97.3 ESPN.
South Jersey business owners, when Eagles football returns to the airwaves this season, don't miss out. Make sure your business is a part of the Philadelphia Eagles season with Merrill Reese and Mike Quick on 97.3 ESPN. Touchdown! Every week, the NFL's most passionate fan base flocks to 97.3 ESPN Radio to listen to their favorite team, the Philadelphia Eagles. Advertising with the Eagles can help your business connect with the consumers you are trying to reach. 97.3 ESPN is the most listened to sports source in all of South Jersey. That's what makes 97.3 ESPN such a powerful station for your business's message. So this Eagles season, don't have your business sitting on the sidelines. Be a part of the Philadelphia Eagles season on 97.3 ESPN. To find out how to become a part of the 2024 Eagles season, go to townsquaresouthjersey.com to request more information.
Find what you love, love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. Spirits and beer, thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low. It just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
Only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly. Be 21.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Diego.
Hi, Diego. It's Jennifer Coolidge. I just want to say your cashback match makes me feel so special. It really inspired me.
That's great. Doubling the cashback you've earned at the end of your first year is what we do.
Well, I'm doubling everything now. Double dating, double dipping, double feature, double header, double whammy. Basically double or nothing.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
With GMF financing to qualified buyers excludes Traverse and Corvette excludes fire sales.
It's that time of year. Bennett Chevy's Summer Sell Down, our biggest sale of the year. 200 vehicles must go now. New Chevys, $500 below the GM supplier employee price. Yes, an amazing $500 below what employees pay. And Bennett gives you all the rebates. Yes, you get both. $500 below the GM supplier employee price, plus you keep all the rebates, saving you up to 10%. And with available 0% financing, you'll save even more. Plus, Bennett's paying a whopping $10,000 minimum for any trade towards any pre-owned in stock. You heard right. You get at least $10,000 for any old rusted, busted rattletrap you can get to our lot. Imagine how much you'll get for a good trade. And our non-commissioned sales team is paid based on your satisfaction, not how much you spend. It's the Summer Sell Down. Another reason nobody beats a Bennett deal. And I mean nobody. Together, let's drive at Bennett Chevy, Egg Harbor Township, and BennettChevy.com.
It's common knowledge that after age 30, our metabolism changes. We have less energy and gain weight easier. There's a way to feel better, not in years or months, but sometimes in just days.
I'm Chuck Norris. I tried everything. Working with a team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick. Morning Kick is a revolutionary new formula that combines all my favorite supplements into one daily drink.
Morning Kick has probiotics to help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and powerful anti-aging supplements. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, and helps manage stress.
I look and feel better than I have in years.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com, use code SUPPORT, or text SUPPORT to 511-511 and claim 40% off. roundhouseprovisions.com, code SUPPORT.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee. You could be feeling these changes within just a couple of days.
Text SUPPORT to 511-511.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
It's time to roll out the red carpet for, well, new carpet. There's no better time than right now at the Home Depot, where the more you buy, the more you save. Save up to 10% on select special order carpet styles you love from brands you trust. And installation is included on qualifying purchases. Start your carpet project today at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Offer valid July 11th through July 28th, 2024. Receive up to 10% off select special order carpet purchases. Minimum purchase required. Exclusions apply. For licenses, see homedepot.com/license numbers.
This radio commercial was made to convince you to stop speeding. We can't use siren sound effects on the radio, so we'll use other equally jarring sound effects to get your attention. Like telling you that whether you drive a little over the speed limit or a lot, you can crash just the same. You could hurt yourself or worse, others.
I'm at the scene of the collision.
And the damage you cause will be beyond repair. See, we didn't have to use crash or siren sounds after all. Speeding catches up with you. Brought to you by NHTSA.
Hi, I'm Cesar Milan. People are always commenting on how healthy my dogs are. One of the reasons is the food my dogs eat.
Dr. Marty's Nature's Blend is a premium freeze-dried raw dog food designed to support your dog's health, happiness, and lifespan. Save up to 54% off Nature's Blend and get a free bag of cod Crispies. Go to drmartypets.com/deal or text DEAL to 511-511.
Your order is back with a 90-day guarantee.
All dogs are unique. Your dog results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply.
Go for the endless ocean views and the non-stop entertainment. Go for the lucky whirls and the late night twirls. Go for the gourmet eats and the next level sweets. Go to celebrate. Go to rejuvenate. Go for an escape that's anything but ordinary. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennick on 97.3 ESPN and on the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Get more of your texts here at 609-403-0973. Your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City. We'll be talking about the Phillies and the Eagles most of this hour here on Game Night. I want to get to Shaner from EHT. Can I get you guys in the order that they came in? He says, Josh, I love Brandon Marsh, but you are right. It's not cool that he's missing these plays. Still love the dude, but he needs to step up in the field. Also going 0 for 16 hitting recently. Didn't help. Go Phils, Shaner and EHT. And Shaner, that's the thing. Brandon Marsh was literally acquired for his defense. And now this is the fourth time in the last several weeks that he has made a gross mistake in the outfield. And like I said, I don't know if it's a vision issue. I don't know if it's a focus problem. I don't know if it's just whatever it is. There has to be an explanation for why a guy who was, he was never a Gold Glove level center fielder. That's why Rojas is up here. But he was always a above average to good center fielder. And now all of a sudden he's having trouble fielding this year. He's having trouble seeing the ball in the air, reading the trajectory of the ball being hit off the bat. It's a problem. I'm not saying get rid of him. I'm just saying, hey, Phillies, can we fix the problem? George from Summers Point chimes in at 609-403-0973. He says, hey, Josh, I agree with what you guys were saying about Nick Sirianni. Comparing him to Andy Reid is like comparing a Porsche to a Mustang. They are both nice cars, but which would you rather have? That's from George in Summers Point. First of all, kudos to George for speaking my language, using the car comparison. Because you know what? That's a great comparison. Because you know what? Sirianni could go on to have a great coaching career. But he'll never be Andy Reid. Andy Reid is going to the Hall of Fame. This dude is going down as one of the greatest head coaches in NFL history. He's one of only a small group of men who have ever led two different NFL franchises to Super Bowl appearances. Think about it. It's a very small list. The list includes Andy Reid and Bill Parcells. It's an exclusive group. You know who else on that list? Don Shula. So you have this exclusive list that Andy Reid is on. So yeah, he is the Porsche. Listen, Mustangs are cool cars. You ever drive a Shelby Mustang? It's pretty sweet. But it's not a Porsche. It's a good analogy from George Summers Point. George Summers Point gets the analogy of the day. That's an excellent job by him. Thanks, Dave Weinberg, for joining me today on the show. I'll be back tomorrow. Rob Marty is joining me tomorrow on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. Have a great night, everybody.
You have the choice. Whether it's going out to dinner or ordering takeout at a local restaurant or buying that new outfit from a local boutique, those choices help to put money back into your community. Town Square Media South Jersey proudly puts a spotlight on local businesses.
Smokers Haven. Visit smokershavennj.com for a full line of fine tobacco and accessories. Dr. Lyle M. Back. For everything from skincare to cosmetic surgery, go to ilovelylback.com. Kindle Auto Plaza, the area's best selection of Ford, Lincoln, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Wagoneer. Off exit 10 on the Parkway on Stone Harbor Boulevard. Call 609-465-5000 or KindleAutoplaza.com. Philly Marble and the Philly Marble and Tile Outlet, Philadelphia Avenue and Route 30 in Egg Harbor City. Visit PhillyMarble.com. And Ambient Comfort Heating and Cooling Professionals, AmbientComfortNJ.com.
Thank you for supporting your local businesses from Town Square Media South Jersey.